Greetings, Warhammer fans, and Happy New Year. Yes, the new year is upon us. The Empire are out of the way. We're no longer interested in the Empire because the High Elves are on the march. Oh, yes, finally. I have been waiting for this since they dropped the Old World in the first place. I've been tiding over with Battalions. I've been digging out old metal High Elves from many moons ago, but now the Arcane Journal is coming. The new rules for playing different armies and a whole host of miniatures finally on the way. Now we're going to take a look at the Old World article that has been dropped at the Las Vegas preview, but before we do that, let's roll those titles. So we are back and here we go. So at the LVO preview 2025 we got to see the hosts of Ulthuan, and there's nothing really in Warhammer that looks quite so good as a beautifully painted High Elf host in all its glory. It's just, oh, it's beautiful, and it's why I keep coming back to them after all these years, because they're just so damn good looking when they're painted well. So what we've got is, as everything else, we've got a little intro video, which I won't share with you because it is essentially just epic music, pretty pictures of well-painted miniatures. Well, we've got the pretty pictures of well-painted miniatures, and I want you to hear my voice. So there we go. But it does suggest that the elves are still kind of at their peak, which is great. So elves in their pomp, I mean, they always had their pomp, but they can back it up this time around, and I like that. They're in a real good condition. They've still got colonies throughout the world. They've not retreated back inside their borders, which is, I guess, why they get to play more in the Old World sandbox that they've created. So what is coming? What is coming? Well, first off, a Battalion. Now, these have all been pretty crap compared to the awesome box sets we got at the start, but you do get some essentials. You get 66 miniatures. You get 32 spearmen, 32 archers. Boo, I hear you cry. And you know what? I'm not a huge fan of the spearmen, but they'll do. The archers are great, like them, but the joy of these basic militia units is that they are detachment, so you can have a real honking big 32 strong chunk of spearmen in the middle, and then a couple of smaller archer detachments to flank, which also then get the option to fire, stand and shoot, and all of the things that they do that makes a difference for detachments. So they're not great individually, but if you use them well as a big combined unit, well, I say unit, central unit, supporting ones on the side, then you do get to some advantages, and you do get to take advantage of extra flank charges, for example. So definitely worth looking at. So 64 of the 66 miniatures are average, but can be used well. However, two others are chariots. You get 2 Tyrannic chariot kits that can also be made into lion chariots, and why would you make them into anything else? Okay, lion chariots are awesome, and if you put a mage with the Trajan Hunter in a lion chariot and give them the free Trajan Greatblade, then that is a beast of a unit. When you can do the Spectral Doppelganger and just have that thing decimating whole units, in addition to your Scythed Wheels charge, your Lions, and your crew members. It's an absolute monster, and it's something I plan on running in my force. So good that you get 2 chariots that you can make as Lion chariots. I think that's great. Not so good the rest of it. I'd have liked to have seen like Silver Helms or something in there maybe. But hey, here we go. What are you going to do? Arcane Journal High Elf Realms, again, 48 pages, covers the history of the elves, rules for 2 armies of infamy, one of which is a Thracian war host, and the other is a Sea Guard garrison. I'm excited for the Sea Guard. I'm intrigued by the Thracians, because White Lions are beautiful minis, but I don't like them as much as I like Swordmasters. They hit a little harder, but they hit later, whereas the Swordmasters are just nasty all and through. Again, both of them are fragile. Elves are fragile, but I prefer the Swordmasters. Still, that said, you know, It'll be interesting to see what they do, how they twist it. Do we get to have more lions just as pets roaming around in the army? Who knows? So, excited for this. I will be buying the Arcane Journal as soon as I am able. Absolutely. Need one of those. The Bretonnian one made a huge difference, and if nothing else, I really want to see what extra magic items the elves have got, and whether or not it's just the 2 characters that we'll find out about later on, or whether we get a third as well. I'd love to see the brothers show up, Tyrion and Teclis, but whether they will, I don't know at this point. But what we do have, the usual things, reference cards, dice, if you want to spend a fortune on something that you've already got, you know. But the highly expensive transfer sheet there is very pretty, but you do get one in most boxes that's a little less, you know, expensive, so maybe just do that, or look online and find some alternate compatible ones, because there are loads out there. Either way, this is handy. Great for making your armies look good. This is new though. It's Lord of Trace. Oh, it's very nice. It's got elven pomp, but with the Tracian sort of hunter attitude. Heavy armor across the board. Full plate there by the looks. The lion pelt, which looks like a suitably imperious lion, and a Tracian great blade, but also a sword. I'm not sure about the sword. I don't think they need swords. You know, they've got that hefty axe. Why would you have anything else? But it is in Forge World resin, and it looks lovely. Great stuff, and I imagine it'll be very, very good at cutting down monsters. So, perfect. Just what you need. So it'll be interesting there. What have we got? Wildlands of Trace tainted by chaos. Obviously, its creatures are warped by the winds of magic. So do we get some of those tamed, some bigger, nastier beasts? Who knows what we're going to get there? We'll have to see. Most of the other Arcane Journals have allowed you to make use of other kits, so I assume they'll do similar. But who knows? But I am most excited about the next bit. Ishaya Vest, Sentinel of the Silent Isle, is a Sea Guard character. And this one is a Sentinel of the Silent Isle, granted the responsibility of commanding a coastal garrison in defense of the sacred homeland, with a nasty-looking sea trident, trident of Mathland's ire, happiest when leading a unit of Lothan Sea Guard into the heart of battle. Now, again, Forge World resin, looks great, got sailor attitudes going, with patch and everything, and all that Sea Guard practicality. And Sea Guard are a unit I really like in the rules. I think they're just really got a lot of potential, and I'm kind of keen to see how they do. So having a Sea Guard army would be really interesting, because they've got a lot more depth that I think we could do with exploring. So again, really looking forward to this one. This might be a direction to take the army in, but my problem is I quite like the fact that you can pick from all of the different regions of Ulthuan and bring them into a combined force that uses the benefits of everything. Who knows? Let's find out. New kit. So we get 3 new kits from the off here, which is impressive. It's a shame it's these. They look great. They look really good, the Ellyrian Reavers, based off the Island of Blood ones, but I'm hoping multi-part, because there's a problem we'll get to later on. They're not my favourite cavalry unit of choice, but they do look really cool, and if you get 10 of them in a set, then you know you've got a decent amount of horse bows going on there and cavalry spears to sneak around and deal with war machines. Not bad at all. Nice to see something new, and it be another new unit. Returning plastics. We've got the Lord / Mage on the big old dragon, which is something that I completely missed out on. I've still got the old lead Imric, the original lead Imric with the lead wings that fell off every time you moved him if you didn't pin them. So I'll be using that. But this is very cool, and I do like the pose it's in. I'm not so keen on the guy on the back of it though. It just looks a little unbalanced, really. Like the dragon's a bit too small for them. But it's still a very cool kit, and you imagine this is going to do very well, because dragons still in the old world are like that's the key to most people's game plans at the moment. But it is very cool. I like it a lot. The Phoenix coming back, which is great, because I missed these as well, and both of these are tough old beasts in combat, so very nice, and they look fun to paint as well, so can't wait for me to get one of those. Now, a selection of Lords and Mages. That guy on the horse looks magnificent. Sort of elements of Tyrion but not quite obviously as grand, and I like him a lot. And the standard bearer looks suitably serious and determined, which I think is great as well. Then we've got mages again, and the mages are all cool. They're all doing little tricks like making things float, or this guy charging with his spear out. Now I have got the old ones. I have got this dude, this old mage who I like a lot, and I've got the guy, and we're not going to bring his horse down because he's on his horse, maybe he won't fall off. There we are. And I've got this guy, which again is very cool. It's maybe not as action pose. I don't need these ones because I've got those ones, so quite happy with that. But a lot of people are going to buy these and find them awesome. I like the Lawmaster though. The Lawmaster is very cool with his giant sword of Hoth and a nasty, angry, what looks like a jellyfish, but is realistically an energy blast. So it's cool to see those. Happy with that. There's a nice, good range of stuff coming back there. And this one in particular, beautifully painted, I think. Cavalry now though. Dragon Princes. These look a lot nicer than the Dragon Princes from the 90s that I remember. But yeah, I have no Dragon Princess, so I guess I'm going to have to get in for these because elite heavy cavalry are crucial. But I think they look really good, and the way they've been done in blue is just magnificent. Really smart. Silver helms though, I've got loads, about 17 of these at the moment. I need to work out how to fit them in the army, and they look very cool. And I'm liking the paint job. A lot more gold than anticipated here, but they are really, really cool. Always good. Everyday cavalry might not be as good as some, but they'll do what you need them to do, which is what you want in an elf army. These now, Seaguard. It is good to be able to buy Seaguard separately, but my problem is that these are the Island of Blood Seaguard, which means they are push fit monopose Seaguard. You can only ever put them on the stand as they are. These are going to be a key unit, and this is as good as it gets, and that's disappointing to me. All right, and I'll say the same again in a minute, but you're making Lothan a army of infamy. You're making a special character to lead this unit. This unit that they've got here is great, but it is only ever going to look one way. Without heavy conversion work, and it's pretty hard to convert these realistically, without heavy conversion work, these are very much staying as they are, and they look great. But one unit's going to look exactly the same as another unit. It's going to look exactly the same as another unit unless you work hard with the paint, and that's disappointing. As I say, don't get me wrong, this looks good, but I am disappointed that this is all we've got. I'd have much preferred a new Seaguard unit to new cavalry. So there we have it. Phoenix Guard, again, they look super cool, super hardcore, super scary. Can't complain about these at all. I've got a bunch of the old metal ones up on the shelf up there, so I do hope that eventually some more of those come out so I can top them off. If not, I'll get some of these and fill the gaps. Coming up, here we are again. Island of Blood Swordmasters. Now that's great. I have a couple up here. I've got one guy. I've got the leader here, just waiting to do his thing, and that's lovely. Where's my camera? There it is. So that's fine. And I've got a few of the others, but again, monopose, plastic. Can't do much about them. It's just the same as the old metals. Where's the multi-part kits for these things? And I know this is probably because I'm been waiting for this for ages, but seeing everyone get all of their multi-part kits out over the last few months, and all these really good classic kits. The elves are getting classic kits, but they're very limited for modelling opportunities. They're very good for playing, not great for the modelling side of the hobby. So a bit of a shame again, because I'm going to be using a lot of these, and I'd like to make them a bit more variety, a bit more varied. Oh, I've gone too far. White Lions, on the other hand, look really cool. Quite happy with those. They look excellent, and I guess they're going to become a key part for any Trajan armies. We'll have to see how that goes. Now then, Sisters of Avalon and Shadow Warrior dual part kit. Really like these. Think they're excellent. I need some sisters in my army because I've got about 5 Maiden Guard up there, the old metal Maiden Guard, that I need to turn into a regiment. They've got spears and bows. These bows look really cool. I figure mix the two, see how it goes. So I'll be getting one of those. They look really good. Standard spears, honestly, I don't like these as much as I like the old metal ones. And again, with the old metal ones, the Sea Guard, the old metal Sea Guard. Down here, I've currently got these guys being painted, and they look lovely, and they're, you know, smart and chunky and weighty. So where are they? Why can't we have something like that? Archers, much of a muchness. Sensible that they're not wearing armor, but again, I've got the metal ones and I'm happy with them. But it is good that they are available. Now, rounded out by the lovely looking Sky Cutter. I've got a wonderful proxy up there. Don't need it myself, but everyone's going to want one because they're dead handy, really handy. Chariot that hits heavy, but not so many, you know. It's a weird combination of heavy and not heavy chariot, and it can fly, you can get around, you can put an eagle eye bolt thrower on it to snipe. It's really quite handy, like it a lot. Lovely model as well. Bolt throwers, you're going to want a few of these, or you're going to want sisters, or you're going to want both. It depends how shooty you want your elf army to be, but I like the look of them. I've got plenty, but people are going to want them and people are going to need them, so quite happy with this one. And chariots, again, not coming till the second wave though, apparently. So I'm hoping the second wave gets fleshed out a lot, because there's a lot of core in this, but the core basic things you're going to need, but there's not a lot of the classics that I really wanted. Talking about classics, metal kits. So we've got 3 metal kits coming, and it suggests the 2 of them are out now, which is the Handmaiden and Core Hill. So there's your second character. And that Core Hill model is a classic and looks really good, and the Handmaiden is awesome, and I probably want one of them as well. But the other one, the third one they've mentioned, are the Great Eagles, and that's lovely that it's coming back in metal. Oddly that it's in metal. Surely that's something you could make in plastic really easily. But where in metal are the really, really classic ranges? Where are the Sea Guard? Where are the Archers? I want Sea Guard and Archers, and I want them with command groups, and they're currently going for 60 quid each on eBay for a command group. I don't want to pay 60 quid. Where are the classic Swordmasters to mix in with the others? Again, in metal. These are the things that would be great. Old metal characters, mages, whatnot. There's so many that they could release that I hope they do a made to order for, because honestly, a little bit underwhelmed by some of this, and that's me sounding disappointed because I've been so excited. I want to say straight off that I'm glad we've got them finally. That's really good. But I'd like things that work with what I'm after, what I'm trying to build, and currently not all of this does. But for those of you starting a high elf force, my god, you've got a great collection to work from. I'm quite envious. You can pick anything and get going here, and I can't wait to see everyone's forces. Please do share in your comments below what you're building, what you're working towards, and anything you can about how you intend to play them. But this is cool. This is nice. It's nice to see all of this. However, that is not all there is. So I'm just going to pop this down like this. So what we also have is this future, this preview here with a lovely Beastman character. A blind Bray shaman grants a glimpse of the future of the old world. Now, here's the thing. This is clever, because this talks about across the world, Bray herds furtively lurk in the darkest forest, twisted by chaos. And we've got Krollmore, Prophet of Ruin, which is this blind one here with a little familiar who is really good at magic, apparently, and really good at telling the future, and really impressively stuck it to the Wood Elves of Athel Loren, which is great. So that might be the story and where it's heading. And we'll get the Beastmen next, and I think we'll cap it off with the Wood Elves at the end. What we have first, though, is this, which I will go over to here and show you in more detail. This is where we're at. We have had released Bretonnians, Tomb Kings, Orc and Goblins, Dwarves, Warriors of Chaos, and the Empire of Man. We've revealed the High Elves, right? And more to come is the Beastmen and the Wood Elf realms. That's your core factions. All there. And this year, surely this year at this point, I mean, we're looking every 3 months for a faction, aren't we? So elves in 3 months time, 2 to 3 maybe, and then probably by the end of the summer we will have got the Beastmen and the Wood Elves out there as well, which then leads us to this. What's this little square here? Let's just zoom in if we can on that little square here. Can we see that? Look at that. Look. What's interesting about that? That's an empty thing there, suggesting there's more factions to come. Great. What can we learn from this? Well, what we can learn from it is that if you look at the little square there, it appears to have a different coloration. It appears that they have overlain the skeletons and the undead on it, and that they have, you can see the zombie dragon there and the pyramid in the background, but this bit of terrain here, okay, this bit of terrain that stops at the edges and doesn't go into the others is a picture all of its own. And that picture all of its own is this. That is a Total War Warhammer 3 picture of Grand Cathay. And that picture here, go back to this, that picture there, that little bit there, and that little outcroppy bits and those things in the background that you can see there, is up here. Boop. Zoom right in. Can you see? Look, tiny tower, pointy hill, edge of another hill, a little bit there, things on the ground. Let's zoom in onto that one. Oh, look, that is exactly the same. Let's just switch between the two again. Oh, look, there it is. And go back again. Oh, look, there it is again. There it is. There it is. There it is. So I think this is a non too direct, but still not very subtle suggestion that if things continue as they are, we might see a brand new Warhammer Fantasy faction. Finally, they teased Cathay and they teased Kislev, and they teased them right at the start before we got any of these core factions, before things probably got a little bit political in the office and they decided to hedge their bets and go for nostalgia. But it seems to have been selling really well. They've absolutely rolled it out, and I think that we are getting a hint from that this here is going to be a Grand Cathay army, which will be the first massive tranche of new miniatures and new factions and lore for Warhammer Fantasy Battle that we've had in a very long time. I hope I'm right. I hope the other people suggesting this are right too. But to me, it's just the way it cuts off, and it's all surrounded. That square, the mountain doesn't go above. It doesn't come to the sides of. There's no more terrain either side of it. You look over here. There's no more. None of the floaty balloon doodah there. So what I'm thinking is that is very much a clue. That is in its own little box, little thing there, little faction space. Like what's to come. So there's a lovely hint. That's to keep us interested. And on that bombshell, I think I'm going to leave it, because that's an exciting place. The game is in rude health. We've got all the factions out. They're selling well. I'm going to buy some high elves. Maybe not all the high elves I wanted, but certainly some. The rest of you can spend as much as you like. Get whatever you like. Keep it going, because Games Workshop have got things planned for us, which is great. So until then, please do leave a like, subscribe, tell me about your high elf army, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.